Hello lovely people, it's Nicola. I hope you can hear me because it's pretty windy out here, but it's so nice. I made a potato salad, but I really want some fresh herbs to put in it, and I'm going to see if I can find any oregano in the garden. It spreads, it's a member of the mint family I think, and it spreads like crazy, which means it often ends up in the lawn and it often gets mowed, so I'm going to see what I can find. Our vegetable garden is a clover patch at the moment. Rather than grow any vegetables this year, we're doing a cover crop, put the nitrogen back in kind of deal. Hopefully you can hear me and it's not too windy. Oh, so we have a little stash of chicken wire here. Maybe we're going to have to use that for our trees to protect them. Got a nice big row of compost bins here. I did film myself just picking this parsley, but I realised I was doing vertical video and I had to start again, which means that little piece of footage has gone to the grave. There's just a tiny bit of yellow in the walnut tree. I love this area of my garden. The bottom half of the garden is all trees, nice and shady. In the summer, this poor cherry tree isn't doing so well. The apricot tree had the same fate as just about every apricot and peach tree in the valley this year. It did not fruit. This teapot is probably going to be hung in a more secluded spot on the cherry tree for next spring when the birds are nesting. This teepee is where the ginkgo tree was. Oh look, there's like 3 leaves on it. That little stem there is all that's left. Probably won't live. And we got some fall crocuses come up just out of nowhere. Oh, another little flower. So this is one of the lilac trees. This is the one that's taken the main battering. It's quite a small tree. I only planted them this year. So the burlap has stayed on since yesterday. And let's hope it stays on now for the winter, because otherwise the deer will have got at it again. Unfortunately, the bark is completely stripped off around this middle section here. The bark's 100% all the way around stripped off, and Mr. Stitches has looked it up and thinks that the tree will likely die as a result, because it cannot get any nutrition all the way up the trunk now, which would be really sad if that's true. I'm having a little bit of fun with this waffle bowl maker today. I'm going to try and do this with one hand because I don't have a tripod up here. I'm experimenting with this batter. So you don't want to put too much in because it's going to overflow. So it's a very scant 1/4 cup of batter, more like a 1/6 really, and then close it down, latch it shut. So what I've done is I found out that 2 minutes works. So I found out that 2 minutes works really well after the first one being quite the experiment. And I'd keep it closed for 2 minutes, but just listen to the sound it makes. Isn't that hilarious? So the steam's coming out, and obviously there's air escaping, and it's making this hilarious sound. This is the recipe I'm using. I don't know if you can see that. 1 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, replacer for 1 egg. I'm using Bob's Red Mill egg replacer, cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of oil, and I am just adding a little bit of oil on a brush just before I put the batter in. And it smells really good. I mean, it smells like pancakes. It's lovely. This timer is about to go off, I think. All right, it's had it 2 minutes. Okay, the last couple I've just stuck to the top part. So look at that. Ow, it's hot. So obviously I ate the first one because I had to see what it tasted like. But that's 4 so far. I've still got quite a bit of batter left. A little bit more oil. It's non-stick, so it shouldn't really need much. Just putting a very tiny amount on there. And I'm not a fan of white flour, but I thought I'd start with white just to see how it turned out. I've got to put my timer back on. And we'll wait for the funny noise again. As they cool, they firm up a little bit more. Oh, there it goes. Sounds like it's farting, doesn't it? So most of my bowls are probably a little bit too much batter because they did overflow the mould a little bit. So I probably should be a bit more accurate in my measuring and use a little bit less batter. But hey, this is fun. Shame I don't have any ice cream or fresh fruit to put in there. So this is a progression from a little bit too much batter to the latest one, which is almost perfect. Our neighbourhood's busy today, and a lot of people out walking and biking and driving. I love this time of the day though, when the silhouettes are really dark. You can see the outlines of the trees on the mountain, and the sky's a beautiful colour. Absolutely gorgeous. Progress has been made on the Hoodiesaurus. Please excuse my lisping. I already put my retainers in. I completely forgot that I had to do a bit of filming, and I went off to get ready for bed. Brushed my teeth, put my retainers in, and then realised that I needed to talk to you guys. Never mind. It'll just be like I had braces in last year, right? So, 2 spines are done. It's 100 times easier with the circular needles as compared to the double pointed. So I would say if you were ever going to make this, use circular needles. The flexibility makes it so much easier to work across one side and then the other. It's still a little fiddly, and because you're working with a double strand of yarn, it's very tight knitting and it is a bit hard on the hands. And I decided, rather than using my usual continental left hand yarn hold, to revert to my English throwing, because what I can do when I'm holding the yarn in my right hand, I can put more tension on it when I'm doing these SSKs and K2 togs right here. I was a bit concerned about this one because this goes around the corner, or the curve of the hood. So this part is 3-needle bind off, and I've picked up either side of 3-needle bind off in the top purl bumps. Hopefully that's correct. And then these stitches here are also in the top, but then this section here goes down the back of the hood. And now the next section, I've decided to do 16 stitches per spine because there's a 1 stitch gap between them, and so that's 17 stitches for each spine, and that multiplies perfectly 7 times into the amount of ridges I have to pick up. So I folded the cardigan in half and I put a guideline all the way down to the hem in a nice bright red yarn. Now I find the instructions for this part of the hoodie a little bit vague, so what I've decided to do is where I have put my yarn is right down the middle, and I am picking up through the purl bumps either side. So there's going to be like a little bit of knitting, maybe 1 stitch wide in between the 2 layers of the spines. And I think that's going to work fine. I'm hoping it's not going to pucker it or anything. So yes, two spines made, 1 picked up for, and then there'll be 4 more down the back of the sweater, and then it'll be finished. I'm really looking forward to this being finished. I have 2 full days before my holiday. I am working tomorrow. I'm working tomorrow evening, so I have the daytime to make some more progress. And then Friday will be a free day. Well, I say a free day. It's a non-working day to do my last minute things before we go away, like laundry and packing and all that sort of thing. I'm really liking the look of this yarn in stockinette. I mean, I think it looks lovely in garter. That has its own appeal. But this is garter, two strands held together, and I love it. I think if I was to make something out of my other ball of this, with 2 strands held together but a larger needle that's more appropriate to a more flexible texture, I think that would be lovely. So I might have to look up an idea for a travel project that's a heavier gauge, like a bulky weight gauge, that I could use that for. You love my Hello Kitty pajamas? Did I already say that? I sewed these pajamas. Aren't they cute? They're very cozy. It's a thinner fleece, so they're not too hot. They're just right for this time of year. So I really shouldn't stay up too late tonight, because I stayed up too late watching the bay last night, and then I set my alarm for 7 o'clock this morning so that I didn't sleep in too late, because I had to be at work for 11. And I was feeling so tired at the end of the afternoon. But the walk outside in the fresh air with Mr. Stitches earlier woke me up again. And I got a little bit of knitting done. I'm really pleased about that. And here we are at the end of day 9. It was a good day. Another bright sunny day. I know at some point we're going to have some dark, dreary days with lots of rain, maybe. That's me being optimistic. So another day of work and knitting and farting waffle makers. If nothing else, the farting waffle maker will give me a fantastic title for today's vlog. Hope that made you laugh. Thanks for spending the time with me again. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.